A diary entry from my teenage years triggered my boyfriend's insecurities. I, 23F, have been dating my boyfriend, 26M, for 4 months. Overall, our relationship has been good, but we've had recurring issues around insecurities. We've been able to talk through differences before, but this situation feels different, and I'm not sure how to handle it in a healthy way. Recently, I went to my mother's house to pick up some belongings I had left behind. While there, my boyfriend and I came across an old diary of mine from when I was a child/teenager. Out of curiosity, we read some of it together. In one entry, my teenage self had written a very idealized description of a future husband extremely rich, tall, colored eyes, etc. This description does not resemble my boyfriend at all. At first, he seemed calm, but later that night, after we returned home, he asked me if that meant I don't find him attractive. I tried to explain that the diary entry was written by a much younger version of me, long before I knew what real love or attraction looked like, and that it doesn't reflect who I am or what I want now. I told him clearly that I do find him attractive, and that I'm with him because I choose him. Despite this, he keeps returning to the diary entry and questioning whether he measures up to what I really want. I understand that he struggles with insecurities, and I genuinely try to reassure him and make him feel desired. However, I'm starting to feel stuck repeating myself and defending something that feels irrelevant to my present self and our actual relationship. I dislike confrontation and really don't want this relationship to end, especially over something written by a teenage version of me that no longer represents my values or preferences. At the same time, I don't know how to continue reassuring him without feeling like I'm responsible for fixing his insecurities. How can I reassure my boyfriend in a way that's supportive, but also set a boundary, so I'm not constantly having to justify my past or defend myself over something that isn't reflective of who I am now? Too long did not read. I, 23F, found an old teenage diary describing an unrealistic dream husband, which triggered my boyfriend's, 26M, insecurities. I've reassured him, but he keeps questioning my attraction. How do I support him without endlessly defending myself over something from my past? Good grief. People have all sorts of silly ideas when they are teenagers. If he can't get over that, then you're better off without him really. Throw the whole relationship away. For months, and you should still be walking on sunshine in the honeymoon phase. Things are going to get worse with time, not better. I think you have said everything you can say. Maybe ask him if there is some reason he thinks you haven't grown in that time, and if there is some other reason he thinks you aren't attracted to him. Boyfriend, 29M, wants to take me, 32F, on an expensive trip. How do I tell him I can't afford it? My 32/F, long-distance boyfriend of 4 months, 39/M, came into a significant amount of money about 2 years ago when an investment paid off, enough that he's basically retired. I was totally unaware of this when our mutual friend introduced us. I'm not living month to month, but I'm also not particularly financially stable. This isn't normally a problem for us, but he just offered to take me on a week-long international trip next month. He has a specific event he wants to go to and hates doing fun things alone, lol. I'd love to say yes, but even with him paying for everything, missing an entire week of work would cut into my finances more than I'm comfortable with. That's half a paycheck for me, and we already have another trip planned for the month after that I'm saving up for. Is there a tactful way to talk about this with him? It feels like my only options are either asking him to help pay my rent, which feels anti-feminist and like I'm a gold digger/sugar baby, or saying no to the trip, admitting to him exactly how poor I am, or making him feel like I don't want to do things with him. Even just the thought of bringing it up makes me feel sick. Too long did not read. Rich boyfriend wants to take me on an all-expenses-paid vacation, but taking time off work would still cut into my savings. How do I tell him that without seeming like a gold digger? I can't afford it, sorry. Just be honest with him. It's not the trip cost, it's the missed work. That's totally reasonable and not gold digger vibes at all. Let him know you can't afford to miss work for that trip, as you're using your holidays for the next trip with him you're saving for. My husband, 28M, is hiding his addiction from me, 25F, and lying again and again. Should I stay or am I being too harsh? I'm a 24-year-old woman and my husband is 28. We've been together for 5 years and married for 5 months. We got married this summer in my home country and had a very small celebration that my family and I organized and paid for. All he had to do was buy the rings and his suit and come. We are both medical students in his country, and my family has always been understanding about how hard it is for him financially. I usually work every summer, so I paid for the wedding, for a language course, so he could someday work in my country after graduation, and for most of our living expenses. We moved into his studio apartment, and my student loan is currently covering almost everything. His parents only send money occasionally. And I always convince myself it will all be worth it in the end, living with the bare minimum. Right now I have no expectations from him to take me out on dates or anything. I love him deeply. He is my best friend, gentle, affectionate, and usually very supportive. That's what makes this so painful. When I met him, he was addicted to pregabalin, and I stayed by his side for 2 years while he fought to get clean. I believed in him, and I was proud of him. I truly thought that chapter was behind us. Then, about a month after we returned to university this year, I discovered tramadol. He had been taking high doses for 5 months, paying for the prescriptions with money that ultimately came from me, while I was working, planning our wedding, and dreaming about our future together. Finding that out crushed me. He cried, apologized, and told me he wanted help. I tried to see it as a relapse, not the end. We booked a psychiatrist and started a tapering plan. I said I couldn't afford it for him, but in the end I still helped financially and took care of him through withdrawals. 2 months later, he told me he was completely off it, but my trust was already fragile. When I later found a hidden prescription, he first lied, and then admitted the taper had been too fast and that he had secretly continued for another month. I told him very clearly that the lying hurt more than anything, and that if it happened again, I didn't know if I could stay. Since then I've been living in constant anxiety. I hate who I'm becoming, checking his things, watching his behavior, trying to catch him in something. I am full investigator mode, and he is full liar mode and manipulative. I don't want to be this suspicious wife, but I don't feel safe emotionally anymore. Yesterday everything exploded again. I followed him without him knowing and looked in his car. I found a pill under the seat. When I confronted him, he insisted it wasn't tramadol and claimed it was for erectile issues. When I tried to search it, he became defensive and angry, accusing me of being controlling. He kept lying, saying I'm embarrassing him that this is for potency. He did it to surprise me. I am being controlling, I need to believe him. Until I found the exact pill online, he tried to lie more, but it didn't work out. He broke down and started crying and apologizing and said he was just 1 pill a day. He said, not enough to get high. Once again, he cried. Once again, he promised it wouldn't happen again. And I just feel empty. We just got married. I don't want to be divorced already. I love him so much, but I'm exhausted from being his caretaker, his financial support, and the person who keeps discovering the truth. I don't know where I would go if I left, or how I would explain this to my family. I have 3 months until summer and feel completely trapped. What hurts the most is the lying. Over and over. I don't know if I can rebuild trust after this many broken promises. I'm terrified that this cycle will never end, and that I'll spend my life policing his addiction instead of living my own. I don't know what to do anymore. Too long did not read. 24F married to 28M, together 5 years, married 5 months. I financially support us while we're both medical students. He previously quit pregabalin, but keeps relapsing on tramadol and lying about it despite psychiatric help. I love him but feel exhausted, trapped, and unable to trust him anymore. What should I do? When I tried to search it, he became defensive and angry, accusing me of being controlling. This is nasty. It's not just lying, it's trying to get you to doubt yourself and turn things around onto you. He needs to go to rehab. He's an addict. If he refuses, get your marriage annulled. Divorce is the answer. I, 18M, don't know how to navigate my relationship with 18F. Don't know if I worded the title right, but it's whatever. We've been in a relationship for over half a year now, and it's my first relationship, but not hers. I'm on a burner account for some privacy, and I just need advice/support. This problem started a few months ago, where we'll have a disagreement, and usually she'd end up shutting off. For instance, she'd do something I don't like, and when I respond she shuts down, puts on a sad face, and stops responding. This problem was mostly resolved because I complained about it, but new problems have arisen. Just for clarification, I enjoy this relationship. The only problem is that I feel quite emotionally drained and don't know where to navigate from here. This new problem began recently. We've been having arguments at least once a week, and it's so draining. How it usually goes is one of us does something that upsets the other. Usually I'm quick to apologize, but she isn't. If I'm the one that upsets her, I always apologize and try to empathize, and it's so frustrating. When she's the one that upsets me, she never listens to how I feel and always has a thing to say. It always ends in a shutdown where she says sorry, so I stop talking, with no real acknowledgement that my sadness is justified. When I'm upset, it always feels unreasonable, and I don't feel like I get emotional support in that regard. Any attempt of discussion results in little closure with statements like I just won't open up again, or I won't let you know next time, which makes it feel like nothing was achieved. I'm wildly emotionally drained, but at the same time I love her to bits and enjoy the relationship. Outside of these problems, examples of these problems would be like, I get angry over something unrelated to her, she's upset with my reaction. Instead of supporting me in my frustration, it's a lecture about how to behave. I get upset over something she does to me. Instead of apologizing, she says it's not deep, and I'm doing too much. It feels like such an easy thing to solve, but I don't see an end to it. I don't want to end the relationship, as she says she's making an effort, but I don't know how to see that or navigate the problems. If there's any questions to be asked to understand this more, please ask them. Do I end the relationship, or do I stick it out and see if she improves? Too long did not read. Upset with girlfriend because I feel emotionally unsupported and ignored. Not sure what to do or whether I'm overreacting / being dramatic. Need help navigating problem.